I would say I'm 100% sure. I would bet anyone that finishes the course and actually be disciplined and take Brianna's schedule and take the bar I would bet to them that they will pass the exam.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to Hanging Out with Successful Bar Exam Takers. I am really excited today because we've got a student that I really enjoyed working with. Not that I don't enjoy working with everyone, but I really like working with Carlos, and he is now passed the New York Uniform Bar Exam. And welcome, Carlos, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Jackson. Yeah, that was a great notice to receive after all the journey we worked and we suffered together.
Yeah, there was a lot of work here. This was not your first time taking the exam, was it?
This is not the first time. No, it was actually the third time. The first time I didn't prepare correctly. I chose a different course. Some things and setbacks didn't let me finish the course. But even from the beginning, I wasn't that comfortable with the materials and with the study process. I don't know if it was because I am a foreign lawyer, or maybe I didn't just got accommodated adequately with that course. But then I changed to celebration and I finally made it.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you're in Mexico, correct?
I am currently in Mexico City. Yes.
Yeah. And I really wanted to talk to you and I wanted you to share your story because we have a lot of foreign trained attorneys who come to sit for the uniform bar exam. And it's got its own special challenges, doesn't it?
Definitely, yes. The first one, I would say, obviously, and I don't know if it is my case, but even you have a very good English, if you feel you can talk like a native speaker, you're never going to be a native speaker. So just for starters, that's the first challenge. Then if you're coming from a country like Mexico, where we use civil law instead of common law, then it's also like a different feeling that you get and different principles. And I think a lot of courses are designed for US lawyers, or at least common law lawyers, to pass the course. And I feel that's where celebration also takes into account and puts a lot of focus on cases like mine, makes it more digestible.
Yeah. And it is a challenge, both the language and the change in law. You really worked hard at this to get ready. And I know when you came to us and you put in your first effort and you put in a lot of effort and you fell just short. As I recall, it was, I want to say a 259, which was just under what you needed. But on this last exam, you blew that away, didn't you?
Yes, I think I knew course materials last time. The thing about last time is I finished the materials just before the exam. I think I finished my materials and not all of it. I did my substantive part of the course, I think 1 day or 2 days before the exam. So it didn't really give me a time to digest it again. And I did the only mock exam again 1 day before. And I fell just short, exactly 7 points below what I needed. And this time it was completely different. This time, and I know we're going to talk about this later, but I worked with Brianna to set up a schedule, start a schedule to finish with weeks in advance. And I think that was also like super differential between the first and the second time I did my course. I think the MBE was great, the rehearsals, the box, and because the essay part, the brief, I don't know if you've heard something about this, but I think, and I've heard it was really hard this time.
Yeah, it was really hard. And when we look at the pass rates around the country, it reflects that. And for repeat takers, it's very low. And for foreign trained attorney repeat takers, that pass rate is typically under 20%. And you went way over, you hit a 272 and really impressive. So congratulations for that. I do want to talk about Brianna's time management workshop because this is something that comes up often. Brianna is one of our former students. She's a coach in our course. And she does a wonderful one-on-one workshop with our students that want it to set up their schedule. And for you, that made a big difference because you were busy already, right?
It did a huge difference. Yes, I was busy. And also the thing that someone helps you set up a tailor-made schedule that doesn't allow you to procrastinate, which is something I know almost 99% of thinkers do. Also, if you're working, if the responsibilities that you may have, maybe you're a parent and you have to take care of your children or whatever. And that's a differential. Doesn't let you slack. It also, even more than sitting you for studying, it puts less pressure on your study course. You know where you're at. If you're slacking, you know that you're 2 days behind, so you can put more hours next couple of days. So I think it's a differential tool. I would really recommend working with Brianna or whoever in the future makes these tailor-made schedules.
Yeah, I think it made a big difference because one of the things that I recognized working with you the first time is exactly what you said. You got right up to the end and you were just really scrambling. And I knew you were smart and I knew you were talented, but it's pretty tough to overcome if you don't have enough time to study. One of the things that happened is that we got close, but then you immediately turned around when you got that result and you just jumped right in and got right into it again. And then you got with Brianna. And that I thought was a game changer for you. And so I'm really pleased that it worked out that way. Now, you've utilized some other tools that we've got.
I used the mind maps.
Mind map. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about mind mapping. Can you explain that for somebody that's not familiar with it?
Yes, mind mapping also a very useful tool depending on the topic. For each topic, you have a preset template that you can use that diagrams the topic's principle. It's just that a mind map of the topic that you're trying to study. So that template is super useful for you to start up and then you continue doing your own.
Right. And so these notes that you were taking, instead of doing linear top to bottom notes, you're creating these visual note systems and adding to the mind maps as you went through the lectures and the question practice and the reading. Is that correct?
Exactly right. Yes.
Yeah. And what was the advantage to you as a bar applicant to having done these mind maps? Because sometimes people say, why should I try something new or do something different? Was there a value for you?
Absolutely. From very beginning, when you're doing your mind map, you're actually studying and reviewing the material because there's no way you can do your mind map without knowing the actual topic. It's better than just taking notes. Then after you take that, you got like a first sense of the materials that you're studying. But then after that, when you're just visualizing and looking at your mind map, it's completely different. I think I'm very visual. And even if you don't even identify as very visual, maybe you're more auditive or whatever, it never goes against your interest. It's very useful when you're trying to write an essay and you can't remember quite the specific principle or just the specific topic or actually the term. But then you remember, okay, this wasn't the right far square of your mind map. And then you get it like right away. So
Yeah. So that happened to you during the exam. You could actually visualize where you had certain things on your mind maps.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all. That's the way it's supposed to work. So that's good. Now, one of the other things that you did was personal coaching with me. And in these coaching calls, we had the chance to work together. You submitted your work, your essays, and your performance tests. And when it's all done, of course, it's easy for me to look back and go, oh, yeah, sure, you were doing great. But I know that was a lot of work for you, right? To get that work done and submitted. What was the process like of doing the coaching?
First of all, and you know this, obviously, Jackson, but for the people that will watch this video, it's super easy to set up a call. So the program you use administratively is very intuitive. It doesn't take you more than 2 clicks. There's always someone available. In my case, it was you, Jackson, who you would suppose are the most busy person in the whole celebration. But even though there were always open slots to set up a call. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing is, especially for foreign trade attorneys, the writing part will be the more challenging, I would say. We have a different style of writing, only language, about the structure of it, and what the exam reviewers are trying to identify. Maybe you don't have it as naturally as a US trained attorney. So I think the first challenge was to write in the order that even if you're running out of time, it will let the exam reviewers to give you some points because you actually nailed it what they were asking. Then during the calls, it's really different than just getting written notes. You could, at least in my experience, perfectly explain what were you repeating that you didn't separate by party A or party B, that you did explain the counter theory that maybe you were trying to defend. Yeah, I think these were also differential in me passing the bar exam.
Yeah, there was a lot of improvement in your writing. We knew from the beginning that you were very smart, very talented, but converting that writing into bar exam in English, one of the challenges was getting enough words on the paper, getting the timing down, getting the flow of it. And once you got that, you really started to see an improvement, didn't you? It was okay, this fits.
Yes, and I appreciate that opinion, but I'm saying it's almost failure proof if you get your assignments done. It's almost failure proof because, first of all, everyone that is going through the course, or pretty much everyone, passed law school. So it's failure proof when you get misadvice and when someone explains you the structure that you should get, and you get all these different examples of different essays or NPTs. It's almost failure proof. So I appreciate that you think that highly of me. What I'm saying, it's hard work. It's just getting down to it, and
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone can get it.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. And the essays and the performance tests that you received on the exam, and we've just now gotten our official first look at them, they're tough. This was not an easy exam. There were no short questions. They all had 4, 5, 6 calls of the question. The performance tests were challenging as well. And so it's a real accomplishment to get through that. And of course, to get your MBE and get there. That score that you got gives you enormous flexibility. Obviously, you can get into New York and any other jurisdiction really almost that would accept a foreign trained attorney. Maybe you could talk a little bit about why you wanted to sit for this exam. You're in Mexico City. What was your thought process about why you wanted to be in the New York bar?
First, I did a Master of Laws in the US
Went to a pretty good school too, didn't you?
yeah, Georgetown.
Oh yeah, that's right. I knew. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm guessing getting a Master's of Laws in the US is a goal for many foreign trained attorneys. That's first of all. We all know that the US, especially jurisdictions such as New York, are financial and legal hubs in the world. So even if you are uh, qualified in any other country, and you plan to go back to your jurisdiction after, it gives you a good sense of what the market and international clients, for instance, are looking for. It gives you an aggregated value to your curriculum, obviously. And in my case, after the Master of Laws, I stayed in New York for a couple of years with different big law firms. And after the exam, I got a really good offer to come back to Mexico City. But then again, having the New York bar, be qualified in New York, opens all kinds of doors for the future. If for whatever reason you want to go back to the US and you're a good prospect and a good fit for a good firm, then it's a possibility to get it. And if you want to also move to London, maybe, which is another financial hub, having the New York bar exam is not only for if you want to work in the US, New York, whatever, it gives you criteria for any prospective employers.
What makes you pretty employable, and I don't think you're going to have problems. Yeah, and that I wanted to just point that out because I know that a lot of people are like, "Why should I go through this? It's difficult, it's expensive, it takes time." But there is a real value when you get into the bar, and so it's one of the reasons I'm so pleased and proud of the work that you did. I know that when you've got a couple of failures on the exam, it can be very discouraging. But one of the things that stood out to me, Carlos, was that you kept your attitude really positive. And I think that makes a difference, don't you?
It really does. Yes. I think the people that pass the exam the first time, props to them. It's amazing. They really put the hard work. It's amazing. And the repeaters, there's obviously only two types: the one that go again, make it, and the ones that decide to go for whatever reason. Maybe there are justifiable reasons that their path changed over the way. But yes, I was actually really discouraged because, and I think this is something that happens to a lot of exam repeaters. There's a lot of people that support you, and that's in the best of cases. There's a lot of people that support you throughout the process. And then when you get notice or when you get the email that you didn't pass the exam, it's not only your personal failure for the hard work that you did, it's also that you have to give the news to everyone that was asking during the process, hey, how's the bar prep going? How are you feeling when you don't go out to dinners, to whatever, when you don't go to social events? And the close circle of people surrounding you, supporting you is always very interested in how your preparation is going or when you will get the results and everything. So it's discouraging for both oneself and also for the people surrounding you. Never want to give bad news to someone that was like prompting for you. But yeah, I felt that for maybe the worst 6 hours. I felt I let a lot of people down. But I remember, I think the same day that I received the news, I sent you the email saying that Jackson, I didn't make it this time. I'll have to restart the course. And I can forget this. You you responded with an email right away saying, okay, your course is renewed. Don't worry about it. We can make it. And get down to it.
Yeah. And I think you're right in talking about the disappointment that people around you feel and that you feel for them. So let's flip that. You got your results that you passed. What was that like? And what was it like sharing that news?
I'd say it's a different feeling. When I failed the exam, as I told you, I felt extremely disappointed. It was like a punch, right? It was something hard and it was a fast feeling. When I passed the exam, I would say it felt less intense than failing it, but it felt more satisfactory in the sense that it was like taking a weight out of you. It wasn't like ecstatic as it was failing it. When it was just like a peace, it was a sense of achievement of all the hard work they do. And then the actual intense, joyful reaction was when I told the good news to the people that support me, to my parents, to my friends, to my girlfriend. That was, yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, I bet it was. And I'm sure that they're all very proud of you. It's a terrific accomplishment and quite an achievement.
Thank you, Jackson. I was really excited to send that email to you and everyone.
Yeah, I was excited. You waited a bit, and I was like, I know he passed. I just know he did. I'm just waiting for the email. And yeah, so thanks for stretching it out, buddy. I know that there are people who will be watching this video who have taken and failed the bar exam, whether it's the UBE or something else, and they're discouraged and just frustrated. And maybe they've been through some of the courses that you had taken and just feel like there's not much hope. What would you say to that person today?
Go for it. Like I'm 100% sure I was on the other side. So, so I was, as I told you, I failed the first time and I received all these messages. I'm used to think I know I can pass it, but I know I can make it. And it feels when you receive the news that that you failed the exam, it feels like none of these messages are really legitimate, right? I would say I was on the other side. I passed it now. It didn't take much more effort than the first time because the first time doing celebration, I actually finished the subjective course. It only takes more control, be more methodic. A substantive course like celebration, you're going to let you pass the exam. It's not on the course, not on the materials. It's only being more disciplined. And I'm 100% sure you can make it. And of course, 6 months till the next exam and 4 months studying seemed like a lot, but then you get there and it's done and it's forever. I would say don't take it twice. Go for it. I'm sure you will regret it. I would say I'm 100% sure. I would bet anyone that finishes the course and actually be disciplined and take Brianna's schedule and take the bar maps, I would bet to them that they will pass the exam.
Thank you. I appreciate that confidence. And we are just so pleased and proud of what you've done. I'm excited to see what you do with your now expanded legal career. You've already done a lot in a very short period of time. And so it's fun to see where our alums go as we move along. I just want to thank you for sharing your story. I know that it will encourage a whole lot of folks. And I know there are people out there that feel like they should give up, but I know you would tell them, don't give up, just keep pushing and do something different.
Exactly. Exactly. Do something different, especially my message because of my example for all the foreign trained attorneys. I don't know what country they're coming from. I'm coming from Mexico, which is a seemingly stabilized country. But then again, and maybe some people will disregard this advice, but I know the effort is hard. I know it's a lot. It's a very difficult exam, not only to study for it, but then the performance, that, like the actual day rendering the exam, is also stressing. But everything, it's all worth it, especially when you come from countries where you may not know how the professional environment, social environment, whatever will be in the future. Just don't give up because of a few months of hard work on the possibility to maybe move again to the US, to the UK, to whatever. Don't give up on that possibility that you can take a good turn to your professional career just because of this.
Yeah. Again, thank you, Carlos, and congratulations. So excited and just thrilled for you. And to our audience, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. Carlos is a terrific guy, and we're very grateful. So with that, I'm going to sign off. Thank you again, and we'll be back soon to talk to another successful student. But thank you, Carlos. And again, congratulations. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thanks so much.
Bye.